Hey everyone, this is a clip from a recent episode of Another Pass, where we talk about movies and all the struggles that go into making them. If you like it, check out the whole podcast. You can find it at certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Can I also just say that he lost the lottery on family names?
Yeah,
Like-
Right.
Like, I was actually
Rex,
thinking how messed that was.
Speed.
Right?
Bridal.
Spritle. Like, what? Why? Is it just because you were so sad about Rex that you were like, well, this one, we're going to not give, like, a super racer name. Like,
We
we're
can't
gonna,
give him a racer name or he'll just
No.
go down the exact same path as his other
like,
two brothers.
it's still not going to be, like, Adam or, like, Matt. Hi, Matt.
We're
but-
also
but-
talking to a family where one man's name appears to be Pops with no given first name other than
Right.
that. Pops
mean-
Racer. Full stop.
Yep, and
Yeah.
Mom Racer. And they lean into that in here. And
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Like, I
Yes.
think it's great in that regard. And
Mhm.
God damn it, of course, the older brother died in a car wreck and his name was Rex. Ah!
It's very sad.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, they just don't want to jinx that third child. Just give him a safe name.
Yeah. I mean, his last name is still Razor, so no matter what, he's still got a cool name of some form. Like, at a certain point, if you just have, like, a gnarly last name, like, they'll find a nickname for him. He'll be like
Yeah.
Skip. He'll be like Skip Racer or something.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
but, like,
Big
don't
upgrade
you
from
feel-
Spritle to Skip.
And I know-
mean, like, that, like, Skip is not a name that you could easily make work, but if your last name is Racer, it works.
I know that I'm derailing this whole thing, but don't you feel like don't you feel like you would feel like your parents had lower expectations of you?
Sure, but their first son they named the manner that he died, as far as they understand.
true.
No,
So-
they named him Rex, which is like, it stands for king.
I-
Like, they fucking named him king, dude.
I know, but it's also car wrecks. Like,
I know. Like, but they named him Rex. Okay, that's a
yeah,
cool
no, it's true.
name.
It's a cool name. It's a cool
T-Rex. Rex is the king. Like, that's a
Yeah.
cool name.
The bigger issue is that they named the middle child the one who very clearly has ADHD and has like severe learning difficulties, and none of the parents or teachers are like prepared to deal with the fact
No.
that it's like no, he's hyper fixated on racing right now and he cannot pay attention in class. Like, problem student. Like, no, clearly a child that you need to treat. They named him fucking Speed. Like,
Well,
what
I
were your
mean,
hopes for this child?
They didn't know that he was gonna be like neurodivergent. They just named him Speed. We have derailed this completely.
Yeah, I do. One final point on this. I do think that the only thing that would make me as Spritle feel worse is that there's a close family friend whose name is Sparky, which is just better, and he's not even related to me. It's just another guy with a cool name who's been brought in.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. Sophia hit the nail on the head. You know what? I take it back. I understand why the kid's annoying now. I'd act out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't hate him, but it is too much with him.
Mhm.
Like, the scene where it was too much, especially, was the factory scene, which is what you mentioned,
Yeah.
Sam. Like,
Yeah.
that's so there were some Wall-E vibes going on there with them all kind of moving around.
Mhm.
That was probably the spot where the unreality of everything was just a bit too much for me.
Yeah.
Like, they're all on, like, it was like segways or like
It is
like
Segways because
yeah.
recently they did a big Wachowski storage auction, and the Segway from Speed Racer was up for auction, and it went for thousands of dollars.
Yeah, so like they're all like racing around with it. There's a lot of white going on
Yes.
in addition to lots of all the colors, and it's a lot of people on green
Mhm.
screen, and it's just so much visually
Yeah.
speaking. And then they're causing havoc, and it just felt like, oh well, we're required to do the scene. And I even though I can defend that, like ultimately it was like cool, they uncover the thing that that
Mhm.
Royalton is hinting at how they're going to cheat. I didn't think that was necessary.
Yeah.
I thought it was bad.
And mixed in with that too is they're kind of doing their big wipe movement through Royalton giving his big speech about capitalism and the true heart of racing, while Speed is also simultaneously losing a big race that they're also kind of cutting to. So there's a lot going on in this scene already.
That part I
and
liked, though. I really liked him explaining how
that's-
he's going to lose.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
yeah.
I love the Royalton explaining how he's going to lose. I love seeing that happen in real time in the race. But every once in a while, they would also just throw in a Spritle and Chim Chim antic because they have to uncover the spear hook in the same scene. And I think that they could have taken out a lot of the Spritle and Chim Chim cutaways and instead just focused entirely on the very dramatic crisis moment that's happening. And at the very end, we can remember that they're there because really it wasn't important to be constantly aware that they were in the factory. So I think this is a good example of like one of the places in the film that they could have done some editing to maybe tighten the runtime a bit, and also help take out some of the more like harder to translate elements from the original cartoon.
I think also like at this moment we have like a, you're having a very serious moment and they're throwing in this what is supposed to be funny. It's not. What's supposed to be funny comedy moments. And I guess maybe that's also to maybe if someone brought children to keep them engaged. But it feels actually distracting from the actual message and makes the message and that scene feel more long-winded than it ought to feel. And so like instead of infusing fun, it actually drags that whole sequence down. Even though like technically it's like actually a very good framing device, right? It's like it's very similar to what we saw in the beginning, except the beginning is reflecting on the past, and then this is a glimpse into the future, and it's like it's happening, like he's saying it, what's going to just happen, and then you come out of this spiral and exactly everything that was in that speech is what's happened, right? And that's really great because it's a nice bookend from like that first half of the movie. But because you have all of these scenes with Chim Chim and Spurtle just like coming in and like infusing what should have been fun, it just feels a lot more long-winded. It feels really, it takes a while to get to your actual point.
Remember, if you like that clip, check out the podcast. You can find it at certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.